Hello everyone. This video is the second part to my prior video titled How a Pilot Ended the Globe. If you haven't watched that, I highly suggest you watch that first, or you may not understand what this video is about. In short, if the globe were real, all flights must dip their noses to account for the curvature of the Earth. If a jet did not dip its nose, in just a few minutes, the jet would quickly gain altitude and risk the aircraft and its passengers. Globe proponents have varying explanation as to how an airplane adjusts for the curvature of the Earth, and they are entitled to their beliefs. I really don't care. But globe proponents cannot escape the absolute fact that the downward nose adjustment must occur. But the downward pitch of the nose following the alleged curvature of the Earth must be revealed in the stars, which would rise upward from the perspective of the pilots and passengers as shown here. If the stars do not appear to rise upward, then there is no curvature adjustment, which means there is no globe. In my last video, I shared a time lapse of a part of a flight from Zurich, Switzerland to Sao Paulo, Brazil for a distance of approximately 3,000 miles. The flight direction was southwest. If you model the same flight on Google Earth, there should be an obvious, apparent upward movement of the stars. But in the time-lapse filmed by the pilot, there was no upward movement of the stars, and therefore no curvature adjustment required by the globe. I also provided a second video from a different flight filmed by a passenger that again showed no upward movement of the stars. The primary counter-argument raised by the globe proponents was that the Earth's alleged rotation canceled out the upward movement of the stars. To help explain their position, if I were in the northern hemisphere standing on a mountain facing west, the stars should appear to drop, as shown here, based on the claim that the Earth is rotating towards the east. So, if I were flying at the equator at 1,000 miles per hour to the west, then theoretically speaking, the globe's rotation to the east at 1,000 miles per hour would cancel the upward motion of the stars. But what would happen if we turned the airplane around and instead flew east at 1,000 miles per hour? According to the globe, the flight and the Earth's rotation would no longer be opposing each other, but would instead be combining to make the movement of the stars twice as visible. With respect to the time lapse, the globe proponent claim was that even though the jet was headed southwest, the upward movement of the stars due to the curvature adjustment of the aircraft and the downward motion of the stars due to the rotation of the Earth canceled each other out equally. Let's call it the canceling out claim. None of that makes any sense because the airplane was headed southwest, not west, and the Earth's rotation at the equator is approximately 1,000 miles per hour. Even assuming the Earth's rotation was real, there still should have been some evidence of upward movement, even at an angle. But I'm not going to argue this further because it misses the bigger point. These globe proponents unfortunately set themselves up for a major problem. If the jet's flight heading southwest was perfectly offset by the globe's alleged rotation, then if the plane turned around and headed the opposite direction to the northeast, then the upward movement of the stars, as modeled by Google Earth, would have to double. It's not like the Earth's rotation can switch directions for different flights. By switching the aircraft's heading to the northeast, the flight and the Earth's rotation would no longer be opposing, but would be combining to double the apparent movement of the stars. Fortunately, in the comment section, Kevin Samuel provided a link to a pilot who filmed a time-lapse flying in the opposite direction, heading northeast. A big thanks to him. The video comes from the channel Best Airplane Seat. Again, this channel has no association with the flat Earth. But before we get to the main video I want to discuss, this pilot also filmed a time-lapse from Lisbon, Portugal to Sao Paulo, Brazil. That's almost the exact same direction as one I shared before from Zurich to Sao Paulo. But this video is almost for the entire flight. It's a time lapse at a distance of roughly 4,900 miles. This is what a star's time lapse at a distance of 4,900 miles should have looked like if we lived on a globe, as the airplane dips its nose downward to adjust for the supposed curvature of the Earth. It's still shocking to me how obvious this is. Now, let's watch the time lapse filmed by the pilot, which you can find here. For brevity, I don't want to track the stars again like last time, but I can assure you that there is no upward movement of the stars for the entire flight. This confirms it. There is no upward movement of the stars, evincing a commercial jet that is dipping its nose to account for the curvature of the Earth. I'm sure the pilot from Best Airplane Seat did not mean to absolutely debunk the globe here, but he did. That is a fact. But what about the claim that the Earth's alleged rotation canceled it out again? He did fly the exact same direction to the southwest as the last flight we analyzed. Fortunately, this pilot did make a time lapse in the opposite direction from Sao Paulo, Brazil to Lisbon, Portugal. Remember, by switching directions, if the globe canceling out claim was correct, then there should be twice the upward movement of the stars from what we just watched. Sadly, there is a major cut in the video. That's unfortunate, but we can still use it. I don't know why there's a cut in the middle of it. It's possible that the pilot spliced together two different flight videos. Maybe the pilot substantially changed his heading or something else, but it will not affect our analysis. Let's start with the first approximate 1,500 miles from roughly the beginning of the flight from Sao Paulo until after Natal, Brazil. You can watch it yourself, but facing northeast, the stars should rise up and rotate counterclockwise. And that's exactly what the stars do. Of course, some of the stars rise up in the middle, but the ones on the left actually drop. That means they're rotating. Regardless, there is no indication of a curvature adjustment, especially when you consider the fact that we should be doubling the amount of upward star movement if the canceling out claim were true. For the second segment of the video, we're going to see two sets of islands before the plane lands in Lisbon. The Cape Verde Islands, or Cabo Verde, and you can actually see the volcano Pico do Fogo very well, and then you see the Canary Islands. That gives us a time lapse of approximately 2,000 miles confirmed by the islands. Even at 2,000 miles, the upward movement of the stars should be very recognizable. Here is what it looks like on Google Earth. But remember, assuming the canceling out claim of our globe proponents was correct, the time-lapse of the stars filmed by the pilot traveling northeast should appear twice the amount shown right here on Google Earth. You can essentially double the amount of movement you're seeing right now, and that is what we should see if we lived on a ball. Now, let's watch the actual 2,000-mile time-lapse, and we're going to concentrate on just one star right here that's visible right from the beginning. Again, the stars are going to rotate counterclockwise. Some stars will rise, but this one will actually drop. Here it is again. And here it is right before landing in Lisbon, Portugal. Here's the beginning position. Here's the ending position. The same star was visible for over 2,000 miles heading northeast. Comparing that to what we should have seen if we lived on a globe, the truth becomes obvious. There is no curvature adjustment by aircraft. This ends the globe. The upward movement of the stars should have occurred, but it did not. As confirmed from several video sources, commercial jets do not drop their noses to account for the curvature of the Earth. Forget my 20-mile laser test proving the Earth is flat. There is no measurable curvature over 4,900 miles. No curvature of the Earth means the Earth is demonstrably flat. Thank you for watching.